Dear Rachel and Solomon, if you are seeing this, I am free on Thursday if you would like to hang. Please respond to this and let me know if you would like to hang on Thursday when I am free. You can probably hear the laundry in the background, in which case I am very sorry, but I do have housework to do today. This is the first time that I am at home all day doing nothing by myself, no like social obligations since Tuesday. So I have got an entire set of housework to catch up on. I want to cook something by myself because I haven't eaten at home since Tuesday, and I miss vegetables. For the first time ever, I am reading 3 books on the go. 2 are ebooks, 1 is a buddy read, 1 I'm just reading because of the Buzzwordathon, and then 1 is an audiobook that is on my summer TBR. So the audiobook is Reputation. As I've said, we're getting to know each other, we're not entirely getting on phenomenally. 1 is a buddy read, which is Weather Girl by Rachel and Solomon, reading that with Hilary from Melted Books and having a phenomenal time with it. And the other one is one that I picked up last night for the Buzzwordathon, because for May the words are locations, so up, down, left, right, or north, south, east, west, or things like that. So I picked up an e-copy of Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. Like Reputation, it's a historical romance, but this one is much more actually historically minded. It's got historical terms in it, it's got the writing that you would expect from a historical romance, and I'm gelling with it a little bit more than I had been with Reputation. I'm only 10% in, but we're getting on pretty okay so far. Also, just to add to the historicalness, I am midway through a rewatch of Downton Abbey. It is, and I'm not being dramatic, absolutely fucking boiling. I don't even think hell is going to be hotter than this. Coming on to 7:15 in the evening, and it is still 22 degrees outside. Now, I have a kind of an optimal working temperature of anything between 10 to 18, so I've pretty much gone into shutdown. However, I do plan on turning my stove on this evening because I would like to make a kind of a Thai curry for dinner. I'll take you with me. But I'm also going to tell you as much as I can about Reputation by Lex Croucher. I finished it at work this afternoon, and it's another one of the books where I finished it, but I genuinely couldn't tell you what happened. It felt like it was just there in my ears. Maybe Kristin took me down a wrong path and said that the audiobook was a more immersive experience than reading it as a physical book. Maybe because I read it as a physical book, tried the first chapter and didn't really gel with it super well. That might have coloured how I was reading the book and how I felt about it. But whatever the cause of the situation was, I did not really enjoy this one. It is 1 ticked off my summer TBR. That's coming up now to 2 that are ticked off my summer TBR, so we are a third of the way done. I don't now know what I'm going to listen to as an audiobook next. I have kind of clicked into The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I know that that came out around this time last year, and I had intended to read it for such a long time, and then never bloody did it. I did have it on my radar for such a long time that it feels like now I kind of should pick it back up. I feel like I have to pick it back up. I'm also still in the middle of the 2 written books that I was finishing off at the end of the last vlog. So I'm still in the middle of Weather Girl by Rachel and Solomon, and I am about 15% of the way through Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. Don't let that make you feel like I'm not interested, because I genuinely am. It's just that I've had such a hectic couple of days that I haven't actually had a lot of moments to sit down with a book and actually flick through it. Hilary and I are caught up now on our buddy read. So she is up to the end of chapter 25. I'm just after starting chapter 22. However, there was one particular scene, I want to say around chapter 14 or 15, definitely piqued my interest. I'm still watching Downton, by the way. Robert just vommed all over the table. Can't bring men anywhere.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling, I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
This is a very precarious angle, and I am 90% certain that my phone is going to fall halfway through this update. But I have escaped my house because the weather is far too nice to just be sat inside all day. So I went to a park which is quite near my place. I have got my book with me. I'm hoping to finish it by this evening. I'm about 77% of the way through Weather Girl, and it feels kind of apt to read it when the weather is pretty nice, even though in the book Ari really loves like snowstorms and rainstorms and hailstorms and anything to do with a storm. There is something that I definitely wanted to point out about this book though, and it is that it kind of normalizes talking about your period and talking about getting your period for the first time as a teenager, because one of the younger characters in this book has gotten her period for one of the first times. And I just loved how it was dealt with and how it was treated throughout this book, that it wasn't made a big deal out of. And when she went and asked Ari, oh, do you have any supplies? It was dealt with so well and so normalized. I absolutely loved to see it, and I definitely think that it's something that needs to be much more present and much more prevalent in books these days. Do you know what's really actually genuinely not a joke fun? Reading a book and thinking, okay, this is not super steamy, but I'm enjoying it anyway, and then boom, steamy scene. I'm here for it.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time.
It is a genuine Friday, because something that I have been working on at work for a really long time finally hit the deadline, and that is a cause for celebration. So I am going to take myself out for dinner this evening. I'm going to bring down the Duke with me. We are getting to know each other. I knew that this one would be a little bit of a slog at the beginning because I'm not a big historical romance reader, so I did need a little bit of time to get used to the writing style, to the communication style that the characters have, and I think I'm warming to it. Slowly but surely, we're getting there, and I am intrigued by this book. I'm enjoying it a bit more than I was enjoying Reputation, and I think that is because it is actually written as a historical fiction book, and that it seems to actually be historical romance. So maybe we'll get on a little bit better. It was blistering sun when I left the house. A book club that I was part of when I was living in Dublin, they read predominantly YA books, but is turning 10 this year, so the host of the book club is having a kind of quiz night, and in honor of book club, because it is what we had every single time we had one of our meetings, I've got the rosé.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of.
It is 1:15 in the morning, and I am going to go to bed very soon. I'm going to wind down first, actually, because I'm a little bit on edge because of the quiz. So I'm going to bring the book, and we're going to take about half an hour. At the start of the quiz that I had with the book club, the organisers told us that you have a couple of prizes that you're playing for. And the prize that you're playing for is the winning team gets to pick the book for the book club for the next 6 months. And that was just like a driving force for me. And so we won. So myself and my teammates are going to be in charge of what the Grown Ups Read YA book club in Dublin is going to read for the rest of 2022. The power that I feel. Is this what it's like to be a man? My t-shirt that I'm wearing is one of my favourites because it asks the question, where were you in 92? And the ironic part of it is that in 92, I spent 6 months on the inside. We had no Wi-Fi in the house today because they were doing some work on the line on a Saturday, I know. But it did mean that I spent the entire day reading and also painting my nails. So I did finish bringing down the Duke, and I think I just expected a little bit more than what I got. It was my first foray into historical romance, and I think I was just expecting this to be different. I don't even know how different I had expected, but just different. It follows Annabelle, who is the daughter of a destitute vicar in the local community, and through a scholarship, she is going to be one of the first female cohorts into Oxford University. It's set in, I believe, the late 1870s. The stipulation of her attending is that while she's there, she has to lend her name to the suffragette movement. And while she's also there, she meets with Sebastian Montgomery, who is a duke, and they start a courtship together, and it is quite swoony and quite steamy, which I love. And that appealed to me because we know I love a swoony and a steamy book. But I don't think that that was the part that let me down. I think what had actually let me down is that raging feminist Aoife just wanted to see more of the suffragette movement. I just wanted to see a little bit more of that, and I don't feel like that was fleshed out enough. So maybe the blurb just kind of led me down a garden path that I didn't want to go down. It's 8:15-ish on a Saturday night. I've just had a shower, we've got the internet back, but I'm still on a little bit of a reading kick. So I'm going to destroy some lives, but legally, because I'm going to play The Sims. Then I am going to pick up Well Met by Jen DeLuca. This is the first of a series. It was recommended to me by Paige from Pages with Paige, I think about 20 times. She put it on my 15 before 30 list, and that list desperately is in a little bit of need of attention. So I'm going to try and get this one ticked off by maybe Monday or Tuesday, because there is definitely a book that I was just given from NetGalley that I absolutely need to get to. I am off to the cinema. If you can hear me over the cars, phenomenal news. I'm off to the cinema. The new Downton film is out and I really want to see it. But kind of in collaboration with that, I have some advice for you. Pull up a chair. My advice is don't wait on people. If there's a restaurant that you want to try out, or there's a place that you want to go on holiday, or a cinema experience that you want to have, or a film that you want to go and see, don't wait around on people who are going to fit into your plans. Don't wait until your partner is free in the evening or your friends have the weekend off to go there with you. Treat yourself. Just go. Treat yourself like the motherfucking queen that you are. I have really started to buy into that idea of doing things on my own and doing things for me because I want to do them, and not waiting around for people who are going to do them with me. And it's so much freer.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright.
knows by this stage what day of the week it is. I have lost all sense of time. But this afternoon while I was in the office, I finished the audiobook of The Soulmate Equation by Kristin, and I barely even remember if I told you I was reading that in the first place. The book follows Jess, who is a scientist, and signs up for a dating site where you're matched with somebody based on how comparable your DNA is. She matches at a 98% level with River. Coincidentally, he is the guy who set the site up in the first place. He developed the app and the whole thing was all his idea. So the company decides that they are going to fake date. We love a fake dating trope. Just to give the app a little bit more credibility and also to drum up a little bit more of a marketing scheme for it. Jess is also a single mother, and I really loved how that was put together. Juno is a really precocious 7-year-old. I don't know any 7-year-old who is as well behaved as she is, but I absolutely loved it. It's kind of got the Love Hypothesis vibes in that it's about two scientists and it is a fake dating book, but I absolutely loved it. It is quite separate as well from it. There's also a side character, Fizzy, who is Jess's best friend, and if we don't get a Fizzy book, I'm going to personally write a very strongly worded letter to Kristin. As for Well Met, I am 50 pages in. I have had very few opportunities to actually read this, despite having commuted to the office and the dentist and visiting a friend in a hospital, so commuting there and back and there and back. It's not a good sign that I'm not picking it up, and it is starting to make me think that maybe I'm in a reading slump. I might be in the very early stages, but I'm going to plow on and see if this hypothesis is actually correct, or if, yes, I am in the throes of a reading slump. Earlier this week, in this exact video, I gave you the advice of doing things for you and taking yourself on little solo dates. And now I'm going to give you the advice to shoot your fucking shot. When I finished with The Soulmate Equation, I tweeted Kristin personally and told them that my one wish for Christmas this year was a Fizzy book. And they responded with, "It's so interesting you should say that because we just submitted it on Sunday." Shoot your fucking shot.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of...
The Fringe is giving me Courtney Cox and Scream, but other than that, we're kind of living with it. God, it's 3:15 on a Saturday afternoon, and I think this is the first time that I've spoken all day, which you can probably tell by how raspy my voice is. I just think it's fucking funny that the day after I get my hair cut and have like a huge weight taken off of my head and shoulders, I had a whopper headache that will not go away for 5 hours. My situation today is as follows. At 6 o'clock my time, so in about 3 hours, Lexie from Books with Lexie and Michelle from Michelle's Library, they had their birthdays during the week, and they're going to be hosting some birthday celebration book sprints, reading sprints, and I'm going to hop onto those if I am alive. I've already let Lexie know that I'm walking the line between death and living. There's going to be other people that are on the stream. I'm not entirely sure who they are. I don't even know if I have already met them. I'm going to bring Well Met with me, but there is a chance that I might not finish the sprints with Well Met. I'm gonna definitely read it for the first 30 minutes and just really give it a really good go. I'm gonna give it its best shot. I did read a bit more of it on my work break yesterday. I read a little bit of it while I was waiting at the hairdressers, while I was getting to and from the hairdressers. I don't know what it is. I have said to Paige, who recommended the book to me in the first place, if I don't like this book, can we still be friends? And she did say yes, which is very kind of her, but I don't want to completely shit all over the thing that she recommended me to read, but I just don't think I am falling in love with this book as much as I would have wanted to. I have got an alternative in mind already though. When I was out on Thursday, I didn't bring my book with me because it wouldn't fit into the bag that I had brought with me. But I did bring my phone, and I have got the NetGalley app on my phone, and on NetGalley I've got a copy of The Summer Trip by Isabel Broom. I've got a really good relationship with Isabel Broom and her books. I've known her for a couple of years. She was one of the first ARCs that I ever got when I wrote my blog back then. I've read and loved all of her previous books. All of her books are set in really beautiful locations across the world. Places like Greece, places like Croatia, like New Zealand, like Indonesia. And I knew that this one was going to be set in Greece. I knew that this was kind of like a mother-daughter second chance romance-y type story. Not with each other, obviously, that's weird. But I would really love to kind of go on a holiday to Greece this year. And I think that this is one of the best ways to do it at the moment.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago. But all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago. I've changed for the better.
On Sunday, Germans have this tradition of Kaffee and Kuchen because everything is closed, no shops are open, no grocery stores are open, nothing. So you kind of come together, get some coffee, eat some cake, and just have a nice time on a Sunday. So a friend of mine and I have done that. We had a little walk in the park as well. We caught up. And on the way there, I listened to an audiobook of Welcome to Your Life by Bethany Rutter. I have a couple of people in my real life friendships who have read this book and really loved it. So we have quite similar tastes. And if they love it, I'm going to love it. I'm about, I think, 40% into the book already. And I have to say, I'm really feeling the vibes. I'm really enjoying it. It's about a woman named Serena who leaves her fiance at the altar and then kind of goes and sets a new life for herself in London, moves in with an old friend of hers. And her friend then sets her the task of going on 52 dates, so one a week for the next year, to kind of rediscover her dating wants and rediscover herself as well. This book is full of fat representation and good fat representation. The main character is fat. She also loves herself, and I really love to see that. But something that I really love as well is that she is a seamstress and that she is really good at making her own clothes. She made an entire coat leading up to a date that evening, and I genuinely wish that that was a skill I came pre-installed with. As for Well Met, I read that throughout a lot of the sprints yesterday evening, and now we are getting on a lot better. Something is actually starting to happen in this book, which I felt like it wasn't doing the whole way up towards where I had been in the point. So I'm going to keep with it. I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to keep reading it, and we'll just see how it goes. I don't think it's going to be anything higher than a 3-star when I run it through Compile, because the first part of it was so much of a slog. I don't think anything is going to happen that will really redeem it, but I'm going to stick with it. So if you come back for the middle of June, you're going to see how I felt about that, and hopefully it's not going to be a complete dud. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.